Excited to get our guy Baldy back in here, of course, one of the co-hosts of the great All City NFL show, the All NFL show. The Mozzarella Boss joins us from his own studio. Baldy, what's going on, man?
Let's see. I was just breaking down some of these games that we're going to see on Thanksgiving. So I was just looking at Dallas's offense and San Francisco's offense. So looking at some of the premier teams here and just how they're getting it done right now.
Yeah, we'd love to join those premier teams. And, we were talking about Brian Johnson with the Detroit Lions, and it's been a culmination of a couple of years kind of cutting his teeth with Jared Goff. Like Drew Petzing, it's in his first year as a coordinator. He's with the Cardinals. I don't think he helped himself on Sunday, Baldy, against Houston. You get that fantastic second half where the Cardinals shut out Houston's offense, CJ Stroud and company.
Yeah.
And then this offense can't muster up 20 points. And it goes back to, in my opinion, why are you shifting your offense away from a balanced attack under center, and now you're going 90%, 100% in the shotgun? Like, have you seen a change in how they operate offensively since Kyler Murray returned? And do you think it's a problem that they're not using him under center more?
Well, that's what he's lived in. I don't know if it's, Kyler saying, that's what he played at Oklahoma. He was in shotgun. That's what he did under Cliff Kingsbury. He's been a shotgun quarterback. He hasn't been under center much. They don't do much play action from that regard. They're a spread offense. He's in, I think he sees the field better with his, with his size and everything. And so I think that's what they favor right now, just trying to cater to his strengths and what he likes. But look, they got the three red zone interceptions. They had three straight chances in the fourth quarter to go win that game. 21-16. It seemed like it was 21-16 forever. And, they couldn't put one drive together. So that was disappointing because they shut down CJ. And they're one of the few teams that have done it recently. At least, look, Tank Dell had a great game. But other than that, they didn't really torch him in a lot of other areas.
And where did you see them struggle the most offensively? I mean, they finished the game with three consecutive turnover on downs. What was it, in your opinion, that was the main cause of that?
They just couldn't find like a rhythm. Like, the week before they hit McBride over and over again. I mean, they just couldn't find anything that worked. And, I think Houston has, it's interesting. They play without Denzel Perriman, but, you look at Blake Cashman, he goes in there. He looked like he was a starting middle linebacker. He was making plays all over the place. The pass rush is pretty good. Will Anderson made a couple of plays, but I just didn't feel like they could find that go-to guy for any big chunk plays that they had gotten the week before. And I thought they would come back to that a little bit against Houston's defense. They just couldn't get that done.
Yeah, you mentioned like the go-to guy for this offense. It's supposed to be Hollywood Brown. Like, I think Trey McBride probably needed more targets in that game than he got. But, Baldy, we've talked about it.
Greg Dortch. Dortch was the go-to guy. And I've seen Greg Dortch do this before when Hollywood got hurt last year. And, he had some games. But let's be honest, nobody's building their offense around Greg Dortch. So, while he had a nice game, that can't be the guy.
How dare you? The home of PHNX is the home of the Greg Dortch All-Purpose Podcast, Baldy. He's an All-City member just like you.
No, look, Greg Dortch's a Wake Forest kid, man. My brother went to Wake Forest. Like, I'm a Demon Deacon all the way.
Yeah.
I'm all for him. But, nobody is going to pay elite money so that Greg Dortch can go torch, somebody's defense. Like,
for sure.
He's that third or fourth guy that you need, that you want, but ultimately, he's not going to go win games in the fourth quarter for you.
Well, and that's kind of my point is Hollywood Brown's a free agent at the end of the year. Like, what do you do with a guy? Baldy hasn't gone over 50 yards in a game since week 5. He doesn't have a 100-yard receiving game this year. He's on pace for about 700 yards. And I know that they've had limitations at quarterback with Dobbs, et cetera, before Kyler came back. But, like, they are trying to get Hollywood Brown involved, and it's just not working. Like, what have you seen? Like the interception by Kyler Murray, that to me, with my non-trained eye, my amateur take is like these throws, they're low completion percentage throws. It just doesn't feel like he's got opportunities to pull the ball in.
I'm just gonna tell you, it is hard to be a number one wide receiver at that size. It's just hard. Steve Smith Sr. did it, but he was a different kind of guy. He was very strong. He played strong. He was full of testosterone. I mean, he'd want to fight anybody. He was just different, just a different type of guy. They tried it in Baltimore, it didn't work. And that was Lamar's guy. They have been trying it in Arizona. It really hasn't taken off. It's just hard. Like Tank Dell, he just separates in a different way. He just has suddenness to him. Zay Flowers, like Hollywood's got straight line speed, and he can get deep and he can run fast. But he's not this guy that can run all these different routes. Like you haven't seen that from him. And if you're going to be 5'9", and you're going to catch balls from a 5'9" quarterback or 5'10" quarterback, whatever. I'm not throwing around size, but like it's just hard for that connection to work like that. Like that's just my experience. I'm not. Tyler Lockett is an incredible player. He's a little bit taller than Hollywood. He runs better routes. You've got to be an exceptional route runner to play at that size and to be an elite player.
One of the pivotal plays was the 4th down throw that Kyler missed Trey McBride on. And in the postgame, Kyler admitted he had bad feet, what Drew Petzing, the offensive coordinator, calls dirty feet, Baldy. What did you see? What have you seen from Kyler in his first 2 games back, just mechanically, footwork-wise? Do you think he's in a decent spot?
I think mechanics are something with quarterbacks that have to be harped on all the time. Because, some of these, like Lamar, Carson Wentz, Kyler, like some of these guys are just freak athletes. And they just think they can, obviously, Kyler's a great baseball player. Some of these guys just feel like they can just throw the ball to first base from any position. And really, the feet, the shoulders, it's got to be lined up. Now, some guys, they have repped it so many times, Joe Burrow, whatever, Brock Purdy, the ball just goes. The feet are always moved. Even watching C.J. Stroud, like you watch him throw a football, his feet move as his eyes move as he goes through his progressions. And I think sometimes Kyler just feels like he can just throw it from any position. And some of these guys, Mahomes feels like that. It doesn't mechanically always add up, and it leads to incompletions and errant throws.
Let's go to the defensive side of the football. I said yesterday, Baldy, like I've seen enough from Jonathan Gannon and Nick Rallis to feel really good about where this team is trending. I mean, you think about most of the money right now on this roster, it's allocated to the offensive side. Humphreys, James Conner, Kyler Murray, Hollywood Brown, Zach Ertz, who's not playing. The defense is just a hodgepodge, mid-rounders, undrafted guys. And I think they've overachieved this year. And I think if you're a Cardinal fan, I know offensive head coaches are all the rage right now. I would feel really good about the state of this defense heading into 2024 and beyond, because you got people that know what they're doing, and most importantly, can elevate young talent. We've seen B.J. Ojulari, 4 sacks now, Dante Stills. I mean, what's made them so successful? We're like, this team can have that kind of success, and Brandon Staley, a defensive head coach, has all these big money contracts and elite players, and they can't stop anybody.
Well, they're not coordinated with the Chargers. I feel like even though they've played so many different guys with Arizona, I think we've been talking every single week, I think, since the start of the season. We know that they play with great effort. They were without, a bunch of different guys, for a period of time. But, I think when you look at the 2 safeties, Jalen Thompson and, what they had back there, they got 2 really good players. But they look coordinated to me. And the reason why they play aggressive is because they know what they're doing. They don't break down. You break down the back end, you give up huge plays. That's what the Chargers do, and they're always finger pointing. I don't see that from the Cardinals. And look, that's the first 3 interception game that C.J. Stroud has had. He's had immense games against great defenses, and that's the first time that he struggled like that all year. It's the first time. That's a credit to the Cardinals. They play very fast and they play very aggressive, and that's a credit to Jonathan. And I say it every week, but that's the way you want to play the game.
I think the broadcast said he didn't even do that at Ohio State. Like C.J. Stroud hasn't thrown 3 picks, playing big-time D1 college football and in the pro level. Very impressive that Jonathan Gannon and Nick Rallis were able to achieve that against them. Now, bad news, Baldy. They lose Kazir White, kind of they're one of their best players, leading tackler, TFL leader for this team. How do they move forward without White?
Well, it's always the next guy up. You know, the thing that Kazir had is he came with Nick, you know, and he came with Jonathan. So he knew the system. He knew the calls. I mean, even when the defense wasn't on the field, he was when the defense was on the sideline. Like he was the biggest cheerleader there. Like he's been, to me, the guy that's been one of the team leaders of this entire group about how to go play the game. And so I think that's the bigger thing. I think, you know, he's made a ton of plays, obviously, as you mentioned, but I think the leadership that he is exemplified throughout the year is going to be missed more than any other thing. The next guy up will fill in, but I don't know that they're going to get that type of leadership that I think he has provided. I mean, looks like he has rallied the troops every week out there on the field. And there's a certain standard that he plays with and a certain energy level that he plays with that looks like that is the standard there now. And so you lose that. I think you lose a lot.
Looking ahead to this weekend's matchup, it's an impossible question. We ask it twice a year. Like the Cardinals already struggling offensively. Like, what do they do to stop Aaron Donald? They've got deficiencies at left guard, center. You know, he wrecked the game against, you know, Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks. The last thing I want to see as a Cardinal fan is this team, you know, under, you know, the shotgun for 90% of the time, letting him tee off big number 99 on my quarterback coming back from a torn ACL. Like, how would you attack Aaron Donald at this point in his career for a Rams team that's, you know, under 500? You know, I think it can be done, but the Cardinals seemingly can never do it.
Well, I remember when the Rams were getting ready to play the Eagles, and I'm good friends with some of the offensive linemen with Philadelphia. So they had the Rams had just played Indianapolis, and Aaron Donald single-handedly wrecked the Indianapolis offense that day. And they're watching the game. The whole group, the offensive line is all in there. They're all watching together. And they shoot me a text, right? Like in the meeting, I get a text from one of the players, and they're like, "Did you watch Aaron Donald?" Like last week, I go, "Yeah, I watched him. He ruined the offense." And so literally, Jason Kelsey, Jeff Stoutland, the offensive line coach, Lane Johnson, they've all been there a long time. They're like, "Okay, we got to come up with a plan." Like literally, Kelsey went everywhere that Aaron Donald went. And they created a whole game plan and a whole new protection to basically put Kelsey on Aaron Donald like every single play as an extra guy. And it worked out really well. He did not wreck the offense. And you have to, and I remember talking 1 year to Sean Payton, his offensive line coach. They were getting ready to play the Rams. And it was the same thing. They were burning midnight oil like now, Tuesday night, 8:00 at night. They're like trying to figure out how to maneuver him, play action away, all these things, slide to him to neutralize him. And they did a great job. And so it is the ultimate in game planning, because you can't just let O'Connor or Hernandez like single up against Aaron Donald. He's going to destroy both of them, or whoever's in there, Froholt, like whoever. Like you've got to make sure that he's game planned every play.
They've got an incredible interview that they just did with Joe Buck, also recently with Andy Reid. You got to check out the All City NFL show. Of course, Baldy is a part of that. He joins us each and every week. Before we let you get out of here, we need the ultimate Baldy breakdown of what's on the Thanksgiving dinner table this year.
Well, I work for the NFL Network, and so it's a big day. It's Thanksgiving. There's 3 games. There's a game on Friday, Black Friday game, Jets in Miami. So they said, "Look, we need you, but we'll let you decide. You need to either work with us Thanksgiving or Christmas, both big football days this year." So I said, "I'll work Thanksgiving." So I'm doing the post game for all 3 games on Thanksgiving. So like I'm not getting to Thanksgiving dinner until late. Now it's going to be hard because everybody else can be drinking and eating and having a good time. And I got to sit there like in a straitjacket through, until these games end, until I finish before I can indulge at all. So it's my favorite meal, favorite day of the year, to be honest with you. But this one's going to be a work day for me.
So what do you got to have, though, when you are getting to participate?
I mean, my favorite meal is turkey.
Yeah.
So, I mean, turkey, stuffing. I love cranberry sauce, like everything that goes with it. Sometimes
or homemade. We got to know.
No, it's homemade. It's all it's all made in the oven. But like sometimes I start my Thanksgiving meal with 2 pieces of pumpkin pie, because the only time I really eat pumpkin pie all year, but it's a favorite. So I know I'm going to pack on 7 to 10 pounds over the weekend.
Yeah.
I don't care. It's Thanksgiving. So I'm not worried about that. But if I can get 2 pieces of pumpkin pie in early, like at noon, like when it's fresh out of the oven, I'm going for it.
The mozzarella boss can pack on 7 to 10 pounds and not, not worry about it. Absolutely.
Oh, no,
Brian Baldinger.
Yeah, that's nothing.
The best. Thank you so much, Baldy.
Right,
enjoy your holiday the best you
Likewise.
can. We appreciate it. The NFL All City analyst. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you next week. You bet.